show.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
And welcome, Katie, Ian, Rachel. A very warm welcome to you all. I think we're just waiting for Amy to gate crash as well. Please don't swear. You're live on air. So thank you for coming on to the show. Well, we will do some introductions in a second or so, but you're all very welcome. You're listening to Amar and
Jeff
live here on our weekly show. I think that you tuned in to Spice FM and we're dancing to the music, I think, is what you were when we were anticipating us to be live. So apologies about that technical issue, but I'm delighted to say it's been resolved for you coming on the show, and so it should be. Whilst we're waiting for Amy to join us, shall we kick off? Is that all right? Oh, here's Amy.
I'm here with the people. I'm letting them do the talking today, but thank you so much for having us on, and you're in very good hands.
Brilliant. Thank you. Right. Well, before we get to the stars of the show, Katie and Ian, Rachel, not that you're not a star, but let's briefly introduce who you are, what you do, and more critically, why do you do it?
So I'm Katie. I started off as the girls' charity rep for Dame Allan's earlier this year. I've been involved in Marie Curie over the past few years alongside my DAV. It started off as that, and then I kept on going with it. And yes, I'm really looking forward to see what I can do with the role and see what opportunities I can make for students through the school to get more involved in volunteering and fundraising.
Yeah, I started as charity rep at the start of this year as well. I find it a really rewarding role to be able to see the impact of the fundraisers that we set up, setting up fundraisers, organising things, sometimes collecting money for non-uniform days. I just find it really rewarding seeing the impact, hearing back from charities about what the money's been used for. It's just really as well.
Brilliant. And one such charity, whilst there's lots of other worthy charities out there, but one such charity is Rachel's charity. So, Rachel, over to you.
Yeah, I'm Rachel Hardwick and I'm the fundraising and engagement manager at Tiny Lives, and I have the wonderful job of working with communities and organisations and schools like Dame Allan, who do such fantastic things for the neonatal babies and families we support. So it's an absolute honour to be here, so thank you for the invitation, and it's also nice to be able to kind of thank our supporters over the radio as well, so thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rachel. And we'll hear a little bit more about Tiny Lives and what you do and why you do it. Just to say, I think there's a little bit of feedback from your microphone, Rachel. I don't know if it was just me, but we'll see how we get on. But anyway, here we are. So this particular charity campaign and activity happened a couple of weeks ago, didn't it? As in, Katie, Ian, talk us through what that was and what did you do and how many pupils and children were involved in this activity?
So it originally started as an idea further down the school for a non-school uniform day. But following the Carabao Cup win, we have quite a few Newcastle supporters in the school. And so we decided to make it a black and white day, which I think really brought up the enthusiasm, and we ended up raising over £1,000 for the charity, which I think the school is very proud of, and we really appreciate the support from the pupils in that. So very happy.
So was there a real buzz around the day itself? And I mean, anything that's extraordinary or different, I don't doubt creates a bit of a buzz in a school where, especially if you can get away with not wearing a uniform, right?
Yeah, it was quite exciting because we do regularly have non-uniform days, but like the link between this and a lot of people like being Newcastle supporters, this was quite soon after the victory as well. So everyone was, already quite excited from that win. and then having a non-uniform day where you could wear your Newcastle tops as well, just sort of like added a bit extra.
Great, good. Jack, any non-uniform days for you back in the day? Or, I mean, obviously a couple of weeks ago for you. But
do you know what? I think we used to have. Would the non-uniform date be on a Friday? Would that be a Friday afternoon, or has that changed?
I think ours was. It's on a Friday. I think ours was on Friday.
Yeah, I think we used to have a little something in our school on a Friday. But gosh, you've gone back many, many years ago.
yeah, I can't actually recall our school doing anything for charity. I know there was non-uniform days and you could donate things and such like, but it's I think that link between school education, young people, and charity is incredibly important, right? And to hear a little bit more of the importance of that, Rachel, tell us a little bit more about Tiny Lives, please. What is it? What does it do? Why do you do it? Where do you do it? And is there a link back into Dame Allan School as well?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, as Tiny Lives, we are the charity that supports the babies and families who spend time at the neonatal unit at Newcastle's RVI. There's around 800 babies a year will spend time there, and they're there either because they've been born very prematurely or very poorly. And as a charity, we will do everything we can to help ensure that that baby and that family has the best possible chance to thrive. So whether that be supporting a family with a parking permit so that they're not having to either restrict how long they're with their baby, or indeed not be able to afford to be with their baby at all. It could be supporting a mum with counselling because she's particularly struggling with the enormity of the trauma of what her and her baby have gone through. Or it could be supporting a sibling who's struggling to understand what's happening and the fact that they were meant to be getting a baby brother or sister and then they arrived early and now, it's a really difficult thing that they're having to deal with. Mum and dad are up at the hospital a lot and don't really understand why they can't hold their brother or sister because they're in the incubator. So we really do try to make sure that whether, like I say, it's supporting the baby or mum, dad, brother, sister, whoever it may be, we recognise that actually if we want to have this baby to have the best possible chance to thrive, we need to support the baby and their family. And the money raised by Dame Allan's really helps us do that. And it's so, people might not realise, and your listeners might not realise, that 1 in 7 babies in the UK will spend time on a neonatal unit. So when you think of a student population at Dame Allan's, I'm not sure what that number is, but when they're sitting in their classrooms looking around the room, the reality is that 1 in 7 of those children would have spent time on a neonatal unit in the UK. So there's a huge amount of babies and families here in the North East going through it, and children who have experienced it, or indeed it might be that one of their classmates, their siblings was on a neonatal unit. And we just recognise that actually, if these families are going to have the best possible chance to thrive, we need to do what we do as a charity to help them on that journey.
Brilliant. I certainly wasn't aware of the numbers 1 in 7, being on a neonatal unit. I mean, we have a personal relationship with Tiny Lives. Our son, sadly, but actually I say that in a positive way, had to experience, and we as parents had to experience that, but from a positive experience and reflection. He's a wonderful 13-year-old, he's going to be 13-year-old boy this year. So, and undoubtedly the support that's offered is quite significant. Coming back to Katie, what does it mean? Why did you put your hand up to become the charity lead?
I think I've always found that there are so many ways to help out. from actively being out there fundraising to working in a group, and any sort of help can make an impact. It's not something to be looked over. So I think I really wanted to encourage students, especially further down the school, to look into ways they can get into fundraising no matter what. And also, it's quite an experience for the person going out and doing charity work. You've got great personal connections. You can work with different groups of people. And I think that can also inspire you to look into further causes. That's certainly how it was for me with Marie Curie. And from that experience, I really wanted to get that into the student body.
Great. Well done. Allan, why and what any I mean, obviously we're here talking about Tiny Lives, but there are various other charities and they all do amazing things. But what was your experience from a charitable perspective?
My experience was really great, fundraising, organising things, helping other students, especially lower down the school, sort of have awareness raised towards, local charities such as Tiny Lives, and also we've got the Percy Headley Trust they've supported as well, which is helping people with disabilities. It's just really great to let sort of like the next generation of people who like next year in coming years will end up as charity reps themselves and sort of supporting local charities in years to come.
And is it added responsibility? I suppose it's great from a CV perspective, right? As in, personally, I got involved with various charities. I was on the development board of Marie Curie, Katie, for quite some time as well. And you're absolutely right. It's a brilliant charity. It's sad that it's required, but it is a brilliant charity. And but there tends to be a bit of a personal connection with charities, doesn't there? For you to have to come across them and experience them. But in regards to that CV building, what's the value? What would you say to other people, not just younger people, but other people as adults and our listeners across the community who might be sat there going, you know what, I have a little bit of spare time, or I have some spare cash, and what should I do with it? And I suppose also from a religious perspective, there's a requirement from religions where there's an obligation to give. Just thinking that through to our listeners and our viewers, what advice would you give?
Probably.
Allan, I'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. Well, advice is, you can obviously raise awareness for your community, help other people later end up fundraising for themselves. I think it is a really rewarding thing to do. It does make you feel really good about yourself when you've helped other people,
Great. Katie?
So all the time I've spent at the charity shop, it's always improved my day. So it's obviously nice getting out in the community. I've always quite liked the hands-on work that I've been doing there, and seeing that in like a real-time impact with people. But probably just getting involved in any way possible. Obviously, as Allan said, it has a very rewarding feeling. And also, if you just think about the work you're doing, helping out, it's always valuable for the people who are receiving that help. And I think it's something that definitely you can aspire to be. I aspire to be.
Brilliant. Thank you. Rachel, why Tiny Lives? Why there?
In terms of the community of listeners out there, it's no one's plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G to end up having a baby that needs neonatal care. But as I said earlier, 1 in 7 babies born in the UK will spend time on a neonatal unit. So I think it's that thing of you never know what's going to happen. It happens to a huge amount of babies and families, and really we want to ensure that every single family has the best possible chance to thrive. So by coming involved, it's you're raising awareness, but then also help and ensure that we can give that much needed help and support to those babies and families. It's a wonderful charity to be involved with, and we know we ultimately have that impact of help and ensure that these families thrive.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much. Jaff's got his hand in his pocket, obviously now.
We will certainly make contributions to Tiny Lives in the next in the next week or so, 100%.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you ever so much for coming on our radio show right here. Just to wrap up this part of our radio show, I mean, I'm hoping that you're all avid listeners to Spice FM at some point in the day. It's very much a community show, radio station, and this is the business show of that. We do record this. It will go out across all of our wider, broader platforms. But if there was, one thing that you'd like to say, use this platform, please do so. I'll start with you, Rachel, if I may. Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think for me, it would be going back to as this being the business platform, to get businesses to think about that 1 in 7 number, in that it's 1 in 7 babies. But if you have staff going off on paternity or maternity leave in a year, the reality is neonatal care may affect your employees. And actually, we run a neonatal awareness session from Tiny Lives for the business community to help better equip the workforce and the work scheme, so that when and if an employee does make that phone call to say, I can't come into work today because my baby has gone into neonatal care, that as an employer, you feel better equipped in that position because you have a heightened awareness of what that means for that baby and that family, ultimately your employee or your colleague. So I would just encourage anyone out there in the business community who isn't aware of neonatal care and does have a workforce who wants to better educate themselves, is basically to say Tiny Lives can help you with that and better prepare you and your business for that unexpected phone call.
No, thank you for that. And just very briefly before I invite Katie and Allan to say a few final words as well. The ABC's mission is very much around helping, our Northeast become the most inclusive region in the UK. And it's an open invitation to everyone here, as well as the school and you, Rachel, we have an inclusion by default conference, right? And the ambition around it is to help improve the health, the wealth, and the happiness of the region. And I think charities undoubtedly play such a critical role in that, but so do charity reps within schools and schools themselves. So it's an open invitation to our Inclusion by Default conference. You're very, very welcome. Come and see what's going on, see how you can contribute. It is about a conversation and supporting. So that offer of education is key. So understanding how you get that support is incredibly beneficial. So thank you for offering that, Rachel. Allan, what would you like to say? And feel free to say anything to anyone. There's lots of people listening and tuning in as well. So do that.
But yeah, for any listeners, I'd like to say just try and get involved. Start small, maybe set recurring donations to a local charity or a charity you really support, have a personal connection to. Then from there, you can move into more like volunteering, taking up your time, like help other people, and just starting small and building up from that is just really useful. If everyone sets up, small donations over time, that adds up a lot. So that would help a lot.
Brilliant. Thank you. Katie?
Yeah, like Allan said, getting out there, looking in your local community or wider projects. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be huge. I think all help will always be valued, and you never know if there's a time when you might appreciate that help, knowing that support is out there. I think, yeah, it's always good knowing that there's somewhere you can go, and if you've helped out with that, then it just provides a good sense of confidence that you can be in good hands with charities, and knowing they're there.
Brilliant. Well, thank you ever so much. We'll share the link with you. We'll do some tagging if you're on any socials and things like that. And we'll do some promotion around it. So Rachel, Katie, Ian, and Amy in the background as well. Thank you ever so much for joining us this morning. You've been listening to Amar and live on our weekly radio show. Thank you, and we're going to continue with our show. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.